My first recollection of Thermosash was when Dad called us together for a family meeting. We all knew that he was not enjoying his MD role at Architectural Windows. He told us that he wanted to start his own commercial window and curtain walling business. He told us that it would not be easy and that we would all need to make sacrifices. Mum would need to move back into full-time nursing role to help support the family, as he could not see himself drawing a salary for the first 2 years, at least. As a 12-year-old at the time, I had no understanding of what this really meant and the impact it would have on our family life, but we all supported his decision, as it was very clearly something he wanted to do, and we were all up for the challenge. In hindsight, we all learnt from him that nothing good happens without a lot of effort, commitment, dedication, and doing whatever it took to succeed, which he did. So Thermosash has been an integral part of my life for 50 years. Unfortunately, we cannot acknowledge all the people and our legacy projects to this point, but I do have, however, some of our key leaders that have been influential in building the business into what we are today.
In 1972, Laurie left the family up in Auckland and set up base on his own in the Dunedin Club, as he had no intention to take the family back to Dunedin. He already decided to go on his own and couldn't afford distractions and wanted to devote every spare hour of the day working on his business plan and the designs he intended to sell through his new company based in Auckland. Laurie then quit his job, moved back to Auckland and set up shop in Broadway. It was a rather grand entrance and showed his ambition from day one. He then spent a pretty penny on the Thermosash logo, a dove in a double-glazed window representing peace from the outside world. And he wasn't done yet. After hiring 6 salespeople, he bought 6 new Vauxhall Vivas and a Bedford van for deliveries. That pretty much exhausted the family funds, so now it was all on the line. The plan was to enter the domestic market, and when a suitable factory and skilled staff were ready, Laurie planned to go commercial. Thermosash Commercial became a reality in late 1973. Laurie's dream to be in the commercial market was realised when the company won the tender for the University of Auckland's School of Architecture. It was a breakthrough opportunity, the chance for him to implement his vision and reward those who had shown faith in him. Another downturn in New Zealand construction created a need to be proactive to keep cash flow going, and contacts in Malaysia asked for technical support, which Laurie was very happy to provide. This led to a number of large supply-only contracts in UAE, Sri Lanka and Kuala Lumpur, which were very successful and provided impetus and additional skills to carry into the 1980s.
The 1980s was a time of big business and big deals, and none were bigger for Thermosash than the BNZ Tower on 125 Queen Street. The $4.2 million curtain walling subcontract was the largest ever in New Zealand, and Laurie went all out to get it. He flew to Dallas, Texas, doing a deal with the highly regarded Howard Aluminium Company to license their CW400 system, used in the breathtaking PBG Place skyscrapers in Pittsburgh. The BNZ Tower became one of the most impressive buildings in the CBD, and the new technology gave Thermosash an edge, with contract after contract rolling in. Another big deal in the 80s was the Woods Glass Partnership. Back then, due to good old-fashioned government protectionism, Thermosash couldn't import commercial-grade glass because we didn't have an import licence. It forced Thermosash to often deal with competitors and subpar contractors. This got Laurie really fired up. He discovered that a small company in Whangarei had an import licence, and he and I drove the 160 kilometres in the shitty old Toyota to offer the owner, Jack Percy, a deal he couldn't refuse. Jack was the expert at bringing the glass in, and Thermosash brought in business. Of course, the share market crash in '87 brought things to a shuddering halt for many New Zealand businesses. But Thermosash carried on until effectively we were the last man standing.
Well, in the 90s, we started to see the effect of the crash. It was like falling off a cliff. The contracts had all been completed that we secured in the 80s, and work was sparse. Staff were asked to take pay cuts, asked to purchase the company vehicles. David and Shamian mortgaged their property to help with the business. During this time, it was very sad that we lost Laurie Hayes, the founder of the company. This put a lot of pressure on David as a 32-year-old to take over the business with the support of his family, directors, and all employees. The company was very disappointed with the loss of the contract for the Parliament buildings with Mainsville, but were successful in their bid for Te Papa. Te Papa was such a challenging project as it had the most stringent requirements seismically and structurally of any building Thermosash had undertaken before. The successful bid of Te Papa was closely followed by Sky City, which showed great faith in Thermosash from Fletcher's. Completing these projects was huge. It gave the industry confidence in us, moving forward to hospitals, stadiums and airports. Thermosash today is a completely different company. David has transformed the company to what it is today, which is massive company compared to those days. So there's no future in being average, and Thermosash haven't been average over the last 50 years. We've always strived to be better the next day.
You know, if we reflect on the evolution of architectural craftsmanship in New Zealand as we moved away from the square box, aluminium and glass facades of the 1990s, a new era of architectural detailing emerged. Architects and property developers recognised that there was a company in New Zealand capable of pushing the boundaries of architectural design. One remarkable example of this was the University of Auckland Business School facade. It was a project so intricate and demanding that only a few select companies worldwide could have executed as Thermosash did. The tender for the project was divided into 3 parts, initially expected to be awarded to 3 independent contractors. However, David, the driving force behind Thermosash, saw an opportunity and, after 9 months of relentless dedication, secured all 3 contracts. The team at Thermosash demonstrated an unparalleled level of experience and professionalism. The insertion of a titanium film between 2 layers of glass to create the sunscreens was a result of nothing short of a work of art. The ASB North Wharf was an example where Thermosash was intrinsically involved with the design that the structural engineer was adjusting their design to Thermosash requirements. When professionals of such calibre make accommodations based on your standards, you know that you're in a league of your own. This was only the beginning of a decade that was destined to be marked by Thermosash's remarkable journey. The PwC Tower, Smales Farm and the Deloitte Centre, each of these projects brought their own unique challenges to the fore. They left an indelible mark on the architectural landscape of New Zealand. Thermosash had not only raised the bar, they had set a new standard for architectural excellence that transcended international boundaries. It's a tribute to the vision, dedication and unwavering commitment of the team at Thermosash. Our legacy is a testament to what can be achieved when innovation meets craftsmanship.
I joined the business in 2011. There was 185 people in the business when I first started. And we had some significant projects about to kick off. So some of the most significant technological advances that were happening in those early years, in the early 2010s, was Green Star had started to really take traction in the industry. The Kumatoto project in Wellington, some people now refer to the Meridian building, was a really significant leap forward. It was when the industry had started to really embrace Green Star. That building was the first 5-star Green Star building in New Zealand. It had great air tightness, high performance glass and a wonderful Thermosash high performance facade system. So early in the 2010s, following my start in the business, I recognised that the business had been running under a logo that is 38 years old and was used in so many different manners. It needed a refresh, but it was really important that we got the buy-in from the team. So we undertook lots of workshops in order to understand what was meaningful about the business and the brand's values. What we came up with was a New Zealand-centric identity. The key reason that we went with the New Zealand wood pigeon, the keruru, was to maintain the identity of the bird, which Laurie Hayes originally came up with in 1972. It also represented the New Zealand manufacturing and local aspect of our business. We rolled out the new brand, and the effect was incredible. People really bought into it and became a really cohesive team throughout the country. Towards the latter part of the 2010s, Thermosash was doing really well. We had a lot of work on. However, it wasn't so good for everybody, and the vertical construction market was pretty tough. On a day that I remember very well, Fletcher Construction exited the vertical construction market. Now, I'm an ex-Fletcher construction employee and just couldn't believe it. It was just the weirdest thing. It was kind of like nobody's going to turn up wearing shoes tomorrow. I just couldn't believe it was going to happen. With every significant event like this, there's a silver lining. And a number of the people that were at Fletcher's distributed throughout the construction industry. In fact, we hired a few. I feel very privileged to be part of the Thermosash family business. The people are what make this business. It's all about the people. And my ability to be able to contribute to them and their livelihoods with what I do in this business means so much to me.
So here we are in the 2020s. Thermosash is one of the largest companies in the New Zealand's construction industry today, with 650 staff, and the largest prefabrication business, with production centres in Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch. Thermosash has never been better than what we are today in terms of capability and ability of our people, plant and world-leading specialist machinery. We are able to design, manufacture and install any facade solution the vertical construction industry needs for any project anywhere in the world. Thermosash is a world-class facade designer, manufacturer and subcontractor. We need to be to compete in a worldwide facade market. Why do you think in my early 60s that we would invest significantly in a world-class facade prefabrication facility in New Zealand? If you look at the vertical construction market worldwide, virtually all major projects are clad with engineered facades by companies like Thermosash. New Zealand's construction industry is one of the most inefficient in the world today, and the only way you will improve construction productivity in New Zealand is by prefabrication. Thermosash has a small number of clients, architects and main contractors to thank for their support, who have understood the value that Thermosash have provided the commercial construction industry. Thank you everybody for your support over the last 50 years. I'm excited about the future. We've got extraordinary people operating out of a world-class manufacturing facility. Bring on the next 50 years.